Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Rock here for another classic album review, and today we're going to be doing Atmosphere, God Loves Ugly. Bopping heads, there's no stopping it. Mainly when the music is classic. You know when you have that album, you can play every track back to back. Asking everybody, have you heard of that? I know you heard of poets exposing their most personal notions over some of the dopest instrumentals. One time for your mental, 2 times for your mental. Just tell us what you were into by putting your vote in for your favorite classics. Hey, it won't take long. Go to thatinhiphop.com. It'll be up every month for you to choose and for us to review. Shit, we taking it back, y'all. Take it back. I'm not gonna lie, I'm like unfamiliar with this album, but I did give it, I did give it a listen, not a thorough listen, but I listened to a couple tracks and I actually really like it. I dig what he's talking about, his lyrics. He seems like, I don't know, it was personal, kind of personal. The beats were kind of dope too. It was cool. Like I said, I didn't give it a thorough listen, but what I heard so far, I kind of fucked with it. So I'm interested in, yeah, like let me see if I can remember. Cool. Love Life, I think it was one. The first song on there, I don't remember what it was called. I think one. Yeah, the first song on there. Modern Man's Hustle. Yeah, that was pretty dope. And it was a few tracks. Like I said, didn't give it a thorough listen, so I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say about it.
Did you like Fuck You, Lucy?
I didn't hear that one. Like it was a lot of, it was like 18, 19 songs on there. It was pretty long, but I mean, I'm interested to hear what y'all have to say about it.
First listen to this album, I got recommended by, I still remember the guy named working at the record shop, Dan. He had mentioned this to me, to check out this album, and I was like, okay. Atmosphere, because I never heard of him. This Guy Loves Ugly is my introduction. So he played the Atmosphere joint for me, and I was like, oh, okay. I was like, you got another? I was like, you got some shit else? Because he had the vinyl. You can just play the vinyls and whatever, play the records in the store or whatever. So he played. I like you got, because he had a lot of vinyl, so he didn't have that many CDs. Like, you got this on CD, so he gave me a CD. And like, yeah, so I got it for like $7. Went home, listened to it, and I think the thing about this album, I think that really interested me. It was like how so simplistic Ant's production was on here, and like Slug he was such a good MC. He kind of made the production sound a lot better than what it was. I thought the production was really like simplistic, very dry, but it wasn't bad. It was just very simple and to the point. But Slug, the way his lyrical wordplay was just so amazing. I think an average MC would not do to those beats justice the way he did. And the way it's funny that Mike mentioned when we talked about like emo rap. I didn't think of that then until when Mike said it. I'm like, well, damn. So he's
considered emo rap? Is that?
Well, that was.
He claims he started emo rap.
Yeah, that's been his tag or whatever. But then when I think about it, if you listen to this album, he's talking a lot about women.
Yeah, well, he sounds really indie, like very, very indie. Like I don't know. I'm surprised that he is he mainstream?
No,
like I don't know.
No, he's
underground. Totally independent.
Oh, okay.
Underground.
You're right.
He's just independent. He sells more than.
Yeah,
a lot of major.
But I like that.
Yeah,
about
but
him.
That's one thing I know. I'm like, pretty much this whole album is almost like themed around like women and his relationship issues or like trust issues with women. And he's kind of ragging on himself too, like always referring to himself as ugly. Yeah, like it's very blunt and real. And that's one thing I noticed about Atmosphere, about Slug. I was like, man, this dude, and like Mike said, I can see why people don't come at him with that emo rap shit, because Slug can fuck you up on the mic if needed. And I thought this album was I thought it was good, man. Like I said, the only thing that just kind of took me off was just the dry production, but Slug, like I said, he just did such a great job in just capturing his storytelling. The way he, Fuck You Lucy was probably like one of my favorite, because he was just like, you can tell, and it's like every dude, sometimes when you break up with a female, you in that mode like, yeah, fuck you, like, you know what I'm saying, especially if you loved her or you cared about her.
Lucy, I love you.
Yeah, it's like, it was just kind of like, yeah, when I listen to it, I'm like, yeah, I kind of relate to that, because it's like, yeah, when you break up with someone, you like, fuck you. And then one of my favorite joints in there was Flesh, the one with I Self Divine. I love that. That was one of my, because him and I Self was just trading bars. That was just a bar fest. And I was like, yeah, that was the song where I was like, yeah, this dude can go. Flesh. It's featuring I Self Divine. He's also on Rhymesayers as well. But yeah, overall, I thought this album was really good. I mean,
so you say good? Do you deem it as a classic?
Me personally, I wouldn't call it a classic, but it's a really solid project from front to back. I mean, all together. I mean, Atmospheres is a dope group. I can't argue with why Mike loves them so much. It connects with Mike a lot more than it connects with me, so I can understand it. But all in all, they're a dope group. He went on to produce good albums for him and Brother Ali as well. So you know, I think I just love the fact that Slug was able to like uplift the production so much on here. I was amazed by that, me personally. So
gotcha.
I fucks with it.
My introduction to Atmosphere was actually like about 2-3 years ago. My boy Nano, he's a big underground head, and he was like, yo, like, you listen to this? And I'm like, nah, man, I don't listen to that shit. You listen to this? He's like, nah, I don't listen to that shit. So it's funny, like, we've always been close, but it's just been as of late where I've been able to give him some of the shit I like and he likes, and he's been able to give me some of the shit that he likes, and you know, I kind of fuck with. Atmosphere, he been putting me on. I listened to a couple songs and I was like, yeah, you know, he never grabbed my attention. So this is the first time I listened to this album, you know, this week. And the first question I had after my first listen was basically like, why is this a classic? You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't connect like that to me. And like, I'm not saying that dude's whack or nothing like that, but like B said, like the production, like it didn't get me, and everybody know my catchphrase, bumping the whip. So like, it wasn't bad, but it didn't grab me. I didn't dislike his flow or his mute, it's his voice. I didn't like his voice. And then with the emo, you know, rap, like in his feelings type of stuff, I understood it, you know what I'm saying? I get it, you know, because everybody, you know, pretty much if you deal with women or you deal with relationships and stuff, you're gonna get through those emotions, but it was just a combination of everything. I wasn't fucking with it, and I'm not a big Atmosphere fan. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just not my cup of tea. And then listen to him, I'm like, fuck is this shit a classic? Like, this shit not a classic to me. Fuck is this? You know? But I didn't.
Okay, so take yourself out of it. Do you see like how people can view it as a classic?
Well, look, okay, I don't know. Be honest. No, I'm being 100% honest. Yeah. I don't. Okay,
just say no, dude. Just say no.
No,
yeah, no.
Here's the thing.
No, he's trying to think it from an objective standpoint.
No, it's I don't give a fuck. No, I can see how a whole bunch of people could relate to Atmosphere. I 100% see that, and I think it's almost kind of the same way people relate to Drake. It's just on a different thing, but the subject matter is not too different when they talk about the relationship stuff. So I can see the connection. I can see why people love them. I still can't see why like people will consider it a classic though. Gotcha. I can see why people will like it, but a classic, to me, classic means beats that don't necessarily have to beat you over your head, but it has to grab you. You know what I'm saying? The artist himself has to grab me, you know, and I just didn't feel that connection with any part of it on this. Again, like, I could see how people can like it, how people could relate, because it was relatable to me. I didn't like the MC, I didn't like the production, I just didn't like the whole combination of everything. And again, you know, no slight to Atmosphere, I'm just not a fan. It's just not for me, and I don't see how other people would, you know, deem it a classic, because I don't.
That's what I'm talking about, people. Keep that shit 100, man.
You're not part of that world, I think.
I'm not.
That's not a diss.
No.
I just think it's because you're not part of that whole movement that was going on back then. I'm actually, go ahead, Ken. I'll say that.
No, and you're 100% right. No, and you're 100% right. Mainly because this album came out in 02. I just finished high school at that time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I graduated high school at 02. So I like, at that time, no, hell no, I wasn't listening to this.
But even if you were my age, if you just weren't listening to that type of rap, and you didn't even know that scene even existed, you would still to this day say, I don't understand why this is a classic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
you
right.
weren't listening to that type of, just like I might say, I wouldn't say this, but I might say, I don't see why 8 Ball and MJG is a classic, because I wasn't a part of that life. Exactly. I do say it is, clearly, but you know what I mean?
Sometimes you need a break from the boom bap or the southern music, or you know, just West Coast. Sometimes you need a break from that stuff, because you know, it comes at you and that's all you're listening to. And I think Atmosphere provides that. And you take a look at this album, and kind of going back to what B's saying with the production, you know, it's not really kind of out there. You know, it's kind of laid back. You listen to it and enjoy, you know, what Slug is doing with his storytelling and with, you know, with his rhymes. You know, and when it opens up, One More Sphere and Bass in the Movement kind of gives you that. But then it kind of goes into Give Me, and then, you know, there's Fuck You Lucy, which is one of my favorite tracks because, like you said, it's very relatable. On here because, you know, it has a certain tension to it, and you can hear the heartache and the pain and and everything that he's going through. And then you know, there's Vampires, and then I like Breathing, which is Breathe In, Breathe Out, you know, and then of course there's the title track and Flesh, Flesh, that one as well. But like you said, what he does is he covers and touches on a lot of topics that, you know, people really just kind of weren't doing, man. And you look at the title track, and, you know, God Loves Ugly, and you think God is this whole, you know, this light and this joy, and then you contrast that with Ugly, and you're like, wait a minute, which is more dark and, you know, and not as. And then he has the kids, which are supposed to be innocent and fun, and then, you know, and they're attacking, you know, so you kind of look at that and you can kind of appreciate what they're doing with that. So, but yeah, it's very kind of mellow, but he does a good job of giving you tracks here and there that's a little bit different to kind of break the momentum of,
so you think there's
you know, listen to it. Yeah, I think it is well balanced. And if you want to kind of step away from listening to all the other stuff, this album does that job.
And still hear a good MC at the same time.
Right. And that's what I've always appreciated with Atmosphere, is that they give you a good break and just the stuff that you hear all the time.
Yeah. Is it a classic? Or do you deem it a classic?
Do I deem it a classic? Kind of on the fence with that. I'll be honest, I'm kind of on the fence with that. Because depending on what, like Mike said, depending on what circles you're running with or who you're talking to, this album comes up and is mentioned, you know, a lot. If somebody tells me it's a classic, I'm not gonna sit there and argue with them that it's not, because it comes up a lot. I can see why it comes up. It's one of those staple albums you're talking about, like you said, back in 2002. That a lot of people were listening to, and, you know, like you said, the whole emo label, the whole emo movement, or whatever you want to call it, you know, he kind of ushered in that whole movement, and, you know, this was kind of one of the beginnings of that. So if somebody will sit here and say it's a classic, I'm not going to sit there and argue, because I used to hear it all the time.
But yeah, so do you believe that this is a classic album? Like, for yourself, this is a classic album?
Fuck yeah, this is a classic album. This is easily a classic album. And that's what I was trying to get at earlier with you, is I think it just really depends on what scene you're paying attention to. And you gotta think, in 2002, that was, you know, around the time where I wasn't really fucking with mainstream hip hop at all. So when you guys tell me, I don't know, Black Album or something is a classic Jay-Z album, I'm just like, okay, I take your word for it, because I wasn't listening to Jay-Z. I don't know anything about that shit. So if you tell me it's a classic, cool, I'm not gonna argue it. To me personally, did it change my life? No. But the way I look at classic albums is, what did it impact? You know, did it change anything? It's not about, oh, well, are the beats amazing? Are the rhymes amazing? Are the songs amazing? It's, as a whole, did this album have a very strong impact? Carter 3 is a classic. For what reason? It changed a lot of shit. Atmosphere, this album changed a lot of shit in underground hip hop, because rappers weren't talking about their feelings like that. Like, I think Slug was one of the first dudes to come out, you know, Slug and Sage Francis and Brother Ali really were the first guys to really come out and be in their feelings like that. And not just a little bit, a lot. Like, the majority of this album is about relationships, and not just relationships, but failed relationships. And the best part about it is, like, he's not just shitting on women. He's talking about himself too. Like, the album is called God Loves Ugly, and I think I look at the title differently than Ken. Not so much you have this light and this dark. It's really just him saying, yes, I'm fucking ugly. I'm fucking ugly, but at the same time, I'm still worth being here. Like, I have a place in the world. Like, you can't just discount me because I'm ugly and heartbroken and an alcoholic and whatever. God does love ugly. This was not the first Atmosphere album I heard. I didn't have a bunch of friends that liked rap. I still don't. I used to just find hip hop just by going through Amazon. Back in the day, they used to have these lists. if you search for something on the sidebar, all these lists would pop up. Yeah, and they'd be like top 10 favorite blah 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 albums. I would click those. I would spend all day just scrolling through. That's how I found a lot of these albums. And I found this after searching for the Aesop Rock album, because Aesop Rock and Slug used to be in a group called Orphanage. And I first got Seven's Travels, and I loved that album. So I immediately bought this after. And this album absolutely blew me away because I had never heard a rapper rap like this. And, you know, when it starts off, you know, you're so ugly, you're so this is the perfect album for like your average kid. Not like some dude that's running around faking the funk, got, you know, oh, I got a fancy car. No, you drive a jacked up Honda. This is for your average dude who's honest. And that's what I love about Slug, is he's so fucking honest about everything he says. He's talking on this album about shit that he hasn't one time mentioned my fancy car, or how much money I got, or all the bad chicks I pull. No, he's talking about the chicks that break his heart. He's talking about the girls that make fun of him, how much alcohol he consumes on a regular basis. You have a couple songs here and there where he's kind of like flexing on you, but for the most part, this is definitely the gloomiest atmosphere album that they've done. When I listened to this the first time, the first thing I thought was, I found it interesting that I respect Atmosphere the same way I respect Drake. Drake is really honest, he's about his feelings, and he's not afraid to show it. But Slug is on a different level when it comes to that shit. What other rapper would write a song, Fuck You Lucy? That song, if you've ever had your heart broken, which most guys will not admit that shit, if you've ever had your heart broken, that is the song that speaks to you. You know, every lyric on there, fuck you, Lucy, but the problem is I love you, Lucy, so I want to say fuck you, because I still love you, and no, I'm not okay, and I don't know what to do. Like, what rapper would really say that? And you know what I'm saying? Like,
some real shit.
It's definitely some real shit. You know, so I'm gonna finish my drink and have another, and you can think about how you used to be my lover. Fuck you.
Drake would do that.
Not like that, because Drake can't rap that good.
Eminem,
but
maybe?
I don't even think Eminem would be that. Well, maybe now. Maybe now, but not back in the day. He would have done that.
Nah, not at this time.
You know, and the other thing is like
killing you. Talking about
he'd eventually say, "I'm gonna kill you."
Right.
He'll eventually end it with anger. Yeah. Like that. The thing about this album, and Eminem's just gonna be like, you know, fuck you, cunt, fuck you, bitch. Like,
he's being vulnerable. He's been vulnerable.
If you listen to this album, the thing that I hope people pick up on is never, I mean, maybe once or twice, but the majority of the album, he's not degrading women. He's showing his anger towards them, and he's showing his vulnerability, but he's not on here, you stupid bitch, you stupid, you know, this and that. He's just talking about how these women broke his heart, and that's it. And how it hurt him, and how he's still fucked up over it. But the other thing I want to talk about is the beats. I don't know what y'all are talking about. Like, these beats, the thing about this, again, this comes into what circle were you running with, and what type of hip hop were you listening to. When this dropped, these albums were amazing. They're not, I mean, I don't know what you guys were looking for when you say, well, the beats are really just not that interesting. I think these beats are fucking dope. The beat on Flesh, I mean, and the beat on Bass in the Movement, and the song God Loves Ugly, like, oh man, it's incredible. Like, again, it's not a song that other rappers would write. Like, I wear my scars like the rings on a pimp. I live life like the captain of a sinking ship. Like, what rapper is gonna be that depressing? Drake doesn't even do that. Drake is not depressing. Drake just whines about shit. But Slug is genuinely depressing. He's making you feel like, God damn, I'm in the fucking dumps. I think Slug is a lot deeper than people give him credit for. The world is a vampire. She eats her kids. Let's hide the bodies under the bridge. Like, when you listen to that, you just, you know, it's cool, it rhymes. But it's a lot. Yeah, if you really listen to it, it's a lot deeper than that. When I first heard this album, I remember I heard I Self Divine rhyme, and I was like, wait a minute, who is that? I went and looked at it. Like, I Self Divine, and the only reason that name jumped out is because he was in Micronauts, and Micronauts is an Atlanta group. And I remember, I used to work with Shaka at Whole Foods, and I was like, Shaka is on this album? This is weird. Like, what is going on with this? And then I realized that he had moved up to Minneapolis and had joined Rhymesayers. But I was like, I don't know. I mean, I've always thought Shaka was an amazing MC. but I don't know what Slug did to him, but he totally put a fire in his ass, and he became a different rhymer. But Shaka on that track was getting busy. And when it comes to indie hip hop, this album is definitely a classic because of what it impacted. It made people think, even though I'm in the underground scene, I don't have to be this hardcore rhymer. I don't have to be just talk about my skills. I can talk about women and it'd be okay. And still be a dope ass MC that you can't fuck with. People can't fuck with Slug, especially this era of Slug. And the whole Lucy idea, when you really, like, I don't know how much atmosphere y'all dug into, but if you listen to the Lucy Ford EPs, and he's already explained like Lucy is not really one person, it's really the name of, like, he's kind of using the name Lucy to encompass all of his fucked up exes. And then he had the Lucy Ford LP, if you say it quick, Lucifer, he's trying to relate women to the devil. But again, not in it's not in like a derogatory, like all women are bitches type of way. It's more of
one of the tracks on that album, right? He was like referring to women as the devil or something. It was one.
He probably did.
He referenced
I can't
Lucy.
remember. I can't remember the track, but I haven't heard that one, so it wasn't that one.
He used her name again.
He used
on
Lucy's
another
name all the
song,
time. Because that's the name he always uses for the women that hurt him or broke his heart. He always says Lucy.
I think it was a Modern Man Hustle.
Yeah. Well, no, Modern Man Hustle was about his wife. Or his ex-wife.
But he used
But in the
her name.
beginning, I think in that first
I don't
verse.
remember. I don't know if he used Lucy or not. But either way, again, when you listen to Slug, that's why I've always loved Slug. Is he's honest, he's amazing on a mic, and he's a lot deeper than people give him credit for. The whole Lucy idea, I just think is just brilliant. And if you're a man and you can sit here and say, well, I can't relate, I can't relate to that shit, you're fucking lying. You're lying. There's no way you've never had your heart broken. Get the fuck out of here. There's no way you've never had a chick do you dirty and then you really be fucked up over it for at least a couple days. It's just always one of those things with me is I'm one of those type of cats that would rather not meet my heroes because a lot of times they disappoint. A lot of times they disappoint. Most of the time so far with hip hop, they've been okay. Like I met Brother Ali, who's clearly one of my heroes, and he was amazing.
Yeah, he was.
I've never really met Slug in person, but talking to him on the phone was just cool because I like to understand where these people's heads are. And like, I think a lot of these dudes, they understand like, oh, we have fans, but they really don't understand like how much they impact lives. Like,
so he's real humble, like.
I think he is.
What wasn't that type of conversation? It was more like almost like an interview in a way.
It was an interview, but he was just talking.
Right.
People should really go listen to that interview because there's some stuff in there.
I think he's one of those type of guys. Like this is when I always say that music saved my life. People don't understand, and I'm like, it's literal. Like when it comes to the way my mind works, like if I'm the only one thinking a certain way, then it kind of fucks with me. But when you put on an album like this, or like I've said before, like the Curious Disintegration, when you can see that there's a big artist that thinks the exact same way you do, it makes you feel like, okay, I'm not fucking crazy. Like if this dude is sitting here saying, well shit, I got my heart broken, I'm gonna go to the fucking bar by myself and drink until I can barely walk, and I'm gonna stumble back into my car, and you shouldn't do this, people, and then get back in the car and drive my ass home. You don't think, okay, I'm not really that fucked up, like there's other people that do the same shit. And when this album came out, I was going through a lot of fucked up female shit. I'm not gonna get into that either, but like really fucked up female shit. So this album, it fucking screamed to me. It was like, shit, I could have wrote this shit if I was a good rapper. Like this, everything sound here is like, I feel the exact same way. Jesus Christ. I mean, clearly I'm not ugly. You know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying? Hey, appreciate you, bro, appreciate you.
No, just trying to think.
But, you know, I mean, and Slug, whatever, I don't care how people take it. Slug is not an ugly person, but it's about how you feel inside. And when, no offense, but when chicks do you dirty, you feel like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You do feel ugly, like, fuck, damn, she did it again. Fucking Lucy.
Stupid.
But yeah,
Cool.
I don't know what else to say.
Thank you all for putting your votes in at Dead End Hip Hop. Make sure you continue to go to the website and vote for your classic album, favorite classic album.